Have you ever considered whether your daily habits might be subtly contributing to the risk of dementia? What if I informed you that dementia isn't merely an unavoidable aspect of aging, but rather a condition you can take proactive steps to prevent through straightforward adjustments to your routine? I am Michael Johnson, an 85-year-old specialist with over 50 years of experience in treating patients with cognitive decline. In this video, I will uncover the startling realities surrounding dementia and discuss the daily habits that may jeopardize your brain health. It's crucial to stay tuned until the end, as I will also present my effective 5-minute brain activation routine, a straightforward, cost-free method. I utilize daily practices to maintain cognitive sharpness at 85. By the conclusion of this video, you will gain practical strategies to safeguard your brain health and lower your risk of dementia. Be sure to pay attention to this transformative information. Your mind will express gratitude. Before we start, I would be grateful for your consideration. If you find this video beneficial, your support can help me further disseminate the valuable lessons on aging. If you haven't subscribed yet, I encourage you to do so and activate the notification bell to ensure you stay updated with all future content. If you found this video enjoyable, please indicate with a 1 in the comments. Conversely, if it did not meet your expectations, a 0 would be appreciated to guide improvements for future content. Now, let us proceed. Initially, there were no complications. Grandma Mary exhibited a commendable diligence and a sharp memory throughout her life. However, as time progressed, she began to misplace items and frequently missed appointments. Initially attributing these changes to aging, her family grew concerned as her symptoms intensified and sought medical evaluation. Cognitive assessments revealed she was experiencing mild cognitive impairment, a potential precursor to dementia. When I inquired about her daily interactions, she mentioned, "I just watch TV and stay alone. There's no one to talk to. Sometimes, I only say hello and thank you in a day." This lack of social engagement was a significant factor in her condition. Recent studies indicate that reduced verbal communication can weaken neural connections, resulting in memory decline. The brain functions similarly to a muscle. Without regular use, it can deteriorate. Engaging in conversation stimulates various areas of the brain simultaneously, making it an excellent form of exercise for cognitive health. Research reveals a significant increase in dementia risk for individuals who spend excessive time in solitude. A study conducted by the University of Seoul Medical School, which monitored 3,000 seniors aged 65 and older over a decade, found that those who conversed for less than 30 minutes daily had a 3-fold higher risk of developing dementia compared to those who engaged in conversation for over 2 hours. I also took part in this study and was astonished by the notable difference. The impact of conversation is far more profound than we often realize. Articulating thoughts goes beyond mere mouth movement. It requires the systematic arrangement of ideas, the selection of appropriate vocabulary, and the formation of coherent sentences. This intricate cognitive activity engages various regions of the brain, which is essential for preserving cognitive health. The human brain contains a speech circuit that can weaken if not regularly exercised, similar to how muscles deteriorate without use. To maintain this function, it is advisable to establish a daily habit of conversing with someone for a minimum of 5 minutes. For Grandma Mary, I recommend implementing a speaking routine that includes daily visits to the local senior center for at least 30 minutes of conversation, weekly phone calls to her children, and reading aloud regularly. Initially, she felt uncomfortable and inquired if medication could simply be provided. However, I clarified that adopting these lifestyle changes holds greater significance than any medication. Remarkably, after 6 months, her memory showed considerable improvement. Not only did her cognitive function enhance, but her demeanor also became more vibrant, and she exhibited increased energy during memory assessments. Her ability to recall words showed significant improvement, progressing from difficulty in naming 5 words that start with a in 1 minute to recalling over 15 words after 6 months. The areas of her brain associated with speech became more active. I recommend that if you have elderly parents living independently, even if you cannot visit frequently, make it a point to call them daily for conversation. This simple act can greatly aid in preventing dementia as we age. Social interactions tend to diminish, along with opportunities for dialogue, so it is essential to intentionally enhance these chances. What if you don't have? I am available to discuss my extensive experience in patient care and share some effective methods I've learned over the years. The optimal approach involves reading aloud for a minimum of 10 minutes each day. This practice activates more regions of the brain compared to silent reading, particularly when engaging with novels or narratives that evoke emotional responses. Each morning, I engage in reading newspaper editorials aloud and take a moment to share my reflections on them. This practice significantly contributes to my sense of alertness. Another effective approach is to maintain a diary, as if you are sharing your day with someone. One individual I worked with dedicated 10 minutes each evening to writing about their experiences, as though conversing with their child. After a year, their memory assessment revealed significant improvement. Enhancing the organization of thoughts and their expression in writing engages various regions of the brain. Documenting the most significant, appreciated, and eagerly awaited occurrences of the day also contributes positively to mental well-being. Lastly, engaging in community activities is essential. Volunteering, joining hobby groups, or participating in religious activities naturally fosters opportunities for conversation. One of my 90-year-old patients volunteered at a library 3 times a week, and the interactions with other volunteers significantly contributed to maintaining her memory. Participating in activities while conversing enhances effectiveness, as it fosters relationships and offers varied stimulation to the mind. I always advise my patients that engaging in conversation is the most beneficial workout for the mind. Engaging in daily conversations is one of the most effective and accessible methods to mitigate the risk of dementia, and it comes at no cost. This practice can surpass the benefits of costly supplements or treatments. However, preserving cognitive health involves more than mere dialogue. It's important to avoid the passive consumption of media. While I'm not suggesting you stop watching television or online videos immediately, I must highlight a significant risk factor for dementia: the tendency to rely solely on these forms of entertainment. Recently, I had the opportunity to meet Mr. James, an 82-year-old gentleman with the cognitive abilities of someone much younger. When I inquired about his secret, he attributed his mental acuity to a lifelong habit of reading books and diligently taking notes for the past 40 years. He even dedicated time to organizing his thoughts as if he were engaging in a debate about the literature he explored. Upon concluding the book, I dedicated 30 minutes to reflecting on its themes, as if engaging in dialogue with the author. He mentioned that his brain scan revealed a condition akin to that of a 60-year-old. Conversely, 65-year-old Mr. Robert, diagnosed with early-stage dementia, spent an average of 5 hours watching TV and over 3 hours on YouTube daily after retirement. He noted that while he consumed numerous documentaries and news segments, these activities did not aid in preventing dementia due to their passive nature. It is crucial to recognize that we often allocate 4 to 5 hours each day to smartphones or television. However, passively absorbing information can lead to a decline in cognitive function and memory. The brain adapts according to the manner in which we engage with it. A study conducted by the University of California revealed that older adults who engage in television viewing for more than 3 hours daily experience memory decline at a rate 1.5 times faster than their counterparts who watch less than an hour. This phenomenon is attributed to the passive nature of TV or video consumption. Brain scans of older adults who frequently engage in television viewing show diminished activity in regions associated with decision-making, planning, and concentration. A more pressing concern is the consumption of brief content such as TikTok videos. The continuous viewing of these short clips diminishes concentration and impairs cognitive function, potentially elevating the risk of dementia. While my grandchildren find enjoyment in these videos, they have detrimental effects on developing minds and can be even more harmful to older individuals. Brains that are used to brief stimuli may struggle with deep thinking. Therefore, it isn't essential to completely eliminate TV or YouTube from your routine. The key lies in achieving balance. Consuming media isn't inherently negative, but relying solely on it can be detrimental. Engaging in discussions about a show's content or reflecting on your thoughts post-viewing can provide beneficial stimulation. To address this issue, based on my research and clinical experience, I recommend implementing certain strategies. Begin by dedicating at least 30 minutes each day to reading, regardless of the book choice. One of my patients, a 78-year-old gentleman with a passion for mystery novels, supports his cognitive well-being by dedicating 30 minutes each day to reading. The essential factor is selecting literature that aligns with your interests, as enjoyment fosters continued engagement. Following reading, it is beneficial to take a moment to organize your thoughts. Even jotting down simple notes or summarizing as if explaining to another can be advantageous. Personally, I have developed a routine of condensing my daily reading into 3 sentences before bedtime, a practice that aids in converting short-term memories into long-term retention. Additionally, when consuming television or YouTube content, it is important to engage actively rather than passively. Consider posing questions to yourself, such as whether you agree with the content or what your own thoughts are on the matter. One of my 72-year-old patients began documenting her thoughts in a notebook while watching the news, and her memory test results showed significant improvement compared to her peers. Engaging actively is essential, rather than merely absorbing information. Up to this point, I've emphasized the importance of verbalizing and actively processing information, but there's an additional aspect to consider. Avoid maintaining the same routine consistently. Engaging in the same daily routine consistently may pose a risk factor for dementia. Interestingly, engaging in conversation stimulates the brain, enhancing information processing. However, performing the same activities repeatedly can reduce their effectiveness. This highlights the significance of the third principle. If you are still watching this video and find these insights beneficial, please comment number 1 below to indicate your presence. Additionally, if you haven't subscribed yet, I encourage you to do so and activate the notification bell to stay updated with our content. Your support is crucial for us to continue producing valuable material that informs and inspires. Now let's proceed. Our brains function optimally when exposed to new stimuli, yet many seniors adhere to a monotonous daily routine, waking at the same time, consuming the same meals, sitting in the same location, watching television, and following the same walking path. This repetitive behavior does not offer fresh stimuli to the brain. Allow me to share the case of Mr. David, a 68-year-old gentleman. Following his retirement, he adhered to the same routine for 3 years. One day, his children encouraged him to undergo a dementia assessment, which revealed mild cognitive impairment. When I inquired about his daily activities, he expressed, "I don't even know how the day passes. Every day feels the same, and I often can't distinguish between Monday and Sunday." Engaging in the same daily routine can lead to cognitive stagnation, as the brain ceases to absorb fresh information. This phenomenon resembles a state of automatic functioning, which may result in diminished neural connections and a decreased capacity to navigate novel circumstances. A study from Harvard Medical School revealed that individuals who do not engage in new experiences face a swift decline in cognitive abilities. In contrast, those who consistently challenge themselves with novel activities foster new neural connections and preserve cognitive function for a longer duration. This phenomenon is known as brain plasticity, indicating that our brains can evolve and develop even as we grow older. Personally, at 85, I make it a point to try something new each week. Last week, I ventured into digital drawing for the first time, and prior to that, I experimented with a new recipe. These minor challenges help maintain cognitive vitality, so how can one implement adjustments to their routine? For Mr. David, I suggested incorporating small daily modifications. Initially, consider altering your commute or walking route. Simply choosing a different path can invigorate the brain. Mr. David previously walked in the same park every day, but he has begun exploring different parks each week, which has enhanced his memory and observational abilities. Additionally, try using your non-dominant hand for simple tasks. If you are right-handed, consider brushing your teeth or writing with your left hand. This can stimulate the opposite hemisphere of your brain. One individual I worked with practiced drawing using their non-dominant hand for 10 minutes each day and experienced enhanced short-term memory after 6 months. Additionally, exploring a new hobby or skill can be beneficial. Age does not limit the ability to learn. Engaging in activities such as playing an instrument, learning a language, gardening, or cooking can all serve to stimulate the brain. Mr. David began his journey with the ukulele, facing initial challenges. However, after 3 months of practice, he was able to play simple songs, and there was a noticeable improvement in his cognitive function. His experience highlights the brain's remarkable ability to adapt and change. 1 year later, his cognitive test results showed a return to normal levels. This illustrates how minor adjustments in our daily routines can greatly enhance cognitive well-being. Naturally, change can be challenging as we tend to gravitate towards comfort and the familiar. However, to mitigate the risk of dementia, it is essential to occasionally welcome discomfort and pursue new experiences. Obstacles: I advise my patients that discomfort is a fleeting experience, yet its impact can be enduring. It's important to keep this in mind. Another significant shift for Mr. David was broadening his social network. Taking up a new hobby naturally led him to meet individuals with shared interests, enhancing his chances for conversation. This ties back to the foundational principle of communication. Some may wonder if it's too late to acquire new skills at their age. I assure them, even at 85, I discover something new each week. Recently, I've been pushing my limits by developing smartphone applications. It's challenging, but navigating obstacles provides excellent mental stimulation. The essential approach is to initiate small, manageable changes. Excessive alterations can induce stress, so it's wise to start modestly and gradually embrace new experiences. These not only invigorate the mind, but also infuse life with energy and joy. A year later, Mr. David shared with me, "Life in the medical field is incredibly fulfilling. Each day brings fresh experiences and a sense of vitality. To support cognitive well-being, it's essential to also regulate one's emotions. It is important to recognize that effectively managing negative emotions can play a significant role in reducing the risk of dementia. The areas of the brain that govern emotions and memory are intricately linked. Chronic stress, anxiety, and depression have a direct impact on memory function. Allow me to share the story of 75-year-old Grandma Susan. Following the loss of her husband, she experienced depression for 2 years, and her memory began to decline significantly. Initially, she attributed this to her grief, but when her memory did not show signs of improvement, she sought my assistance. Tests revealed that she was experiencing mild cognitive impairment along with elevated stress hormone levels. If this situation persists, it could potentially progress to dementia. Stress and anxiety can lead to a reduction in brain size, particularly affecting the hippocampus, an area crucial for memory function. Ongoing cortisol release can lead to the death of hippocampal cells, making it crucial to manage emotions for the well-being of Grandma's brain health. Susan, I suggested starting with medication and emotional management training. Each evening, keep a gratitude journal and note 3 things you appreciate. Initially, Grandma Susan felt there was nothing to be thankful for, but gradually she discovered gratitude in simple pleasures, such as a nice cup of coffee, a lovely sky, or a considerate bus driver. A study conducted by Harvard revealed that older adults who maintained gratitude journals exhibited heightened activity in the prefrontal cortex, which plays a crucial role in regulating emotions, as well as in the hippocampus, which is essential for memory function. Minimizing negative emotions while enhancing positive ones has a direct effect on brain health. Another effective technique is deep breathing. When experiencing anxiety, take a deep breath for 3 seconds, hold it for 3 seconds, and then exhale slowly over 6 seconds. This 3-3-6 breathing method helps stabilize the autonomic nervous system and lowers the secretion of stress hormones. Grandma Susan engaged in this practice 10 times each day, dedicating 10 minutes daily to sit quietly, concentrating on her breath or the sounds around her. Research indicates that meditation can alter brain structure. Additionally, it is beneficial to be in the company of positive individuals. Our emotional well-being is significantly affected by the emotional states of those in our vicinity. Associating with individuals who exhibit negativity can lead to an increase in our own negative feelings. Grandma Susan became a member of a local choir at a cultural center, where she encountered uplifting and vibrant individuals, discovering joy in singing. 6 months later, her stress hormone levels returned to normal, and there was a notable enhancement in her cognitive function. Her memory and focus sharpened, and her demeanor became more radiant. She shared with me, "Do I now look forward to waking up? My mind feels lighter and clearer." Emotional management is not solely about achieving a sense of well-being. It is crucial for maintaining optimal brain health over time. Adverse emotional states can adversely affect brain health and elevate the risk of dementia. It is important to recognize that stress is an inherent part of life, yet it can be effectively managed. While a completely stress-free existence is unattainable, the manner in which one copes with stress is crucial. Cultivating the skill to manage stress without becoming overwhelmed significantly enhances cognitive well-being. Even at the age of 85, I encounter stress when dealing with challenging cases, disappointing research outcomes, or health concerns. However, I address this stress through daily meditation for 20 minutes each morning and maintaining a gratitude journal in the evening. These simple practices are fundamental to my cognitive health. Now, let's shift our focus to nourishment for the body. During times of depression or stress, it is common to gravitate towards unhealthy food choices. Conversely, consuming nutritious foods not only elevates mood, but also supports optimal brain function through healthy eating habits. Fifth, be mindful of your food choices. Sustenance is more than mere nutrition. It serves as nourishment for cognitive function. The food we consume has a significant effect on our cognitive well-being. Consider the case of Mr. John, a 71-year-old who had a lifelong affinity for fast food and processed meals. Following his retirement, he leaned even more heavily on these dietary choices, finding cooking to be a cumbersome task. Eventually, he began to experience memory decline and was diagnosed with mild cognitive impairment, as revealed by his brain scan. Elevated inflammation levels are directly associated with unhealthy dietary practices. Processed meals and sugary foods are significant contributors to brain inflammation, which can weaken neural connections and result in memory decline. Conversely, an 82-year-old woman, Grandma Mary, has adhered to a traditional Korean diet that includes an abundance of fish, beans, vegetables, and fruits. Had a brain that was a decade younger than her chronological age, and her brain volume exceeded that of her contemporaries. What dietary choices are beneficial for cognitive health? Initial dietary options abundant in omega-3 fatty acids include salmon, mackerel, walnuts, and almonds. Omega-3 fatty acids play a crucial role in enhancing the integrity of brain cell membranes and mitigating inflammation. For Mr. John, I suggested incorporating fish into his diet at least twice a week. Initially, he was hesitant, but after exploring a variety of recipes, he began to embrace this change. Additionally, I emphasized the importance of consuming antioxidant-rich foods such as blueberries, raspberries, broccoli, and spinach to further support his health. Minimize oxidative stress to protect brain cells and enhance cerebral blood circulation. Incorporate foods abundant in B vitamins, such as eggs, lean meats, fish, and dairy products. B vitamins are essential nutrients that play a crucial role in maintaining overall health and well-being. They are involved in various bodily functions, including energy production, brain function, and the formation of red blood cells. Ensuring adequate intake of these vitamins is important for optimal health. Supporting nerve transmission and myelin formation is essential for maintaining brain health as we age. The absorption of B vitamins tends to decrease, making it vital to intentionally incorporate them into our diet. On the other hand, certain foods can be detrimental to brain health, such as sugary items, trans fats, and excessive alcohol consumption, which can lead to brain inflammation and hinder cognitive function. For Mr. John, cutting back on sugar proved to be the most challenging aspect of his journey. Altering long-standing habits is never simple, but he began by gradually substituting snacks with nuts and replacing soda with green tea or water. 6 months later, there was a notable improvement in his diet, and his cognitive test scores increased, particularly in areas of focus and short-term memory. He remarked that altering his diet contributed to a clearer mental state. Even at 8:55, he remains vigilant about his dietary choices. For breakfast, he consumes Greek yogurt with blueberries and nuts. For lunch, he opts for fish or tofu accompanied by vegetables. And for dinner, he prefers a light soup and salad. His snacks consist of dark chocolate or nuts, enjoyed in moderation. He firmly believes that this dietary regimen significantly supports his brain health. Now, let us integrate the 5 principles previously discussed into a daily 5-minute cognitive stimulation routine. This method has evolved from my 50 years of experience. Due to technical issues, the search service is temporarily unavailable. If this situation persists, dementia could manifest a decade earlier. I am Dr. Michael Johnson, a neurologist. Even at 85 years old, I continue to see patients. Over more than 50 years, I have encountered countless dementia patients and uncovered numerous misconceptions and truths surrounding the condition. When you hear the term dementia, what thoughts arise? Do you perceive it as a natural part of aging, or do you view it as an inevitable outcome? Perhaps you believe it won't affect you at all. In this video, my goal is to transform those perceptions entirely. Dementia is not merely an illness associated with aging. While regular exercise, adequate sleep, and a balanced diet play crucial roles in its prevention, it's important to recognize that everyday habits can also influence your risk. As a neurologist with 50 years of experience, I am here to share insights on how to sustain remarkably healthy brain function. Dementia extends beyond mere memory loss. It is a condition characterized by the degeneration of brain cells. Your daily habits can either hasten this progression or, alternatively, greatly diminish the likelihood of developing dementia with some simple adjustments. What habits may be causing issues, and how can you modify them? By watching this video until the end, you will discover habits that could be unintentionally contributing to dementia, along with straightforward yet effective methods to alter them. In the latter part of the video, I will present my daily 5-minute brain activation routine. If you are still engaged and finding these insights beneficial, please comment with the number 2 below to indicate your presence. If you haven't subscribed yet, I encourage you to do so and activate notifications to ensure you don't miss any updates. Your support is vital for us to keep producing quality content aimed at informing and inspiring you. Now let's proceed. This method can be implemented right away, and with consistent practice, it can significantly lower the risk of dementia. It's also the key to how I sustain healthy brain function at 85 years of age. Be sure to watch the video until the end to gain valuable insights for safeguarding your brain health. If you're eager for today's video, please subscribe and give a thumbs up. All of this is complimentary. Now, let us explore the risky behaviors that may contribute to dementia and how to address them. First, refrain from minimizing your verbal communication. The tendency to speak less can hasten the onset of dementia. I would like to share the case of a 78-year-old patient, Mrs. Emily Parker, who visited my clinic. Mrs. Parker had been living independently since her husband's passing 5 years ago, with her children residing far away, visiting her about once a month. Initially, she faced no challenges. She was always attentive and had a sharp memory. However, as time progressed, she began misplacing items and frequently missing appointments. At first, she attributed this to aging, but as her symptoms intensified, her children brought her to my hospital. Cognitive assessments revealed she had mild cognitive impairment, a precursor to dementia. When I inquired about her daily conversations, she responded, "I just watch TV alone. There's no one to talk to. Sometimes, I only say hello and thank you in a day." This lack of interaction was concerning, as recent studies indicate that reduced verbal communication can weaken the connections between brain cells, contributing to memory decline. The brain functions similarly to a muscle. If it remains unused, it can weaken. Engaging in conversation stimulates various regions of the brain at once, making it an excellent form of exercise for cognitive health. Studies indicate that increased solitude correlates with a heightened risk of dementia. A study conducted by Harvard Medical School that monitored 3,000 individuals aged 65 and older over a decade revealed that those who engaged in conversation for less than 30 minutes daily faced a threefold increase in the risk of developing dementia compared to those who conversed for over 2 hours. I also took part in this study and was astonished by the notable difference. The impact of conversation is far more profound than we realize. Articulating thoughts goes beyond mere mouth movement. It requires the organization of ideas, selection of appropriate vocabulary, and the formation of coherent sentences. This intricate cognitive function engages various regions of the brain, which is essential for preserving cognitive health. The brain possesses a dedicated speech circuit, and neglecting to engage in verbal communication can lead to its deterioration. Muscles that aren't exercised require attention. Therefore, it is advisable to establish a routine of engaging in conversation with someone for a minimum of 5 minutes each day, particularly for Mrs. Parker. I recommended a speaking routine that involves visiting the local senior center daily to engage in conversation for at least 30 minutes, calling her children once a week, and reading aloud. Initially, she felt uncomfortable and inquired if medication could suffice. However, I clarified that adopting healthier lifestyle habits holds greater significance than relying solely on medication. Remarkably, after 6 months, her memory showed considerable improvement. Not only did her memory enhance, but her demeanor also brightened, and she exhibited increased energy. In memory assessments, her word recallability improved significantly. She previously struggled to name 5 words starting with "in 1 minute," yet after 6 months, she could name over 15. The activity in her brain's speech areas had increased. My recommendation is this: if you have elderly parents living alone, even if visits are infrequent, make it a point to call them daily. This simple act can significantly aid in preventing dementia as we age. As social interactions diminish, so too do the chances for meaningful conversations. It is essential to actively seek out opportunities to engage with others. In situations where you find yourself without someone to converse with, consider the insights gained from decades of experience in patient care. I will outline several approaches. Reading aloud for a minimum of 10 minutes daily is highly beneficial. This practice activates more areas of the brain compared to silent reading. In particular, engaging with novels or poetry stimulates the emotional centers of the brain, enhancing its effectiveness. Each morning, I take the time to read the newspaper editorial aloud and share my reflections on it. This practice helps me feel completely alert and engaged. Another effective approach is to maintain a diary as though you are sharing your day with someone. One individual I worked with dedicated 10 minutes each evening to documenting their experiences, as if conversing with their child. After a year, their memory assessment revealed significant improvement. Enhancing the organization of thoughts and articulating them in writing stimulates various areas of the brain. Reflecting on the most positive aspects of your day, acknowledging what you are thankful for, and considering what you anticipate for tomorrow also provides significant advantages. Engaging in community activities is crucial for overall well-being. Engaging in volunteer work, hobby groups, or religious activities inherently fosters opportunities for dialogue. One of my 90-year-old patients participated at the library 3 times a week and expressed that interacting with fellow volunteers significantly contributed to their well-being. Her recollection is essential to recognize that interaction goes beyond mere conversation. Participating in activities together significantly enhances relationships and offers varied stimulation for the mind. I often advise individuals that regular dialogue serves as an excellent workout for cognitive health. Engaging in daily conversations is one of the most straightforward yet impactful methods to ward off cognitive decline, and it comes at no cost. This practice can surpass the benefits of costly supplements or treatments. However, to truly support brain health, it's crucial to remember that conversation alone is insufficient. Additionally, passive activities like watching television or browsing YouTube should not be the sole focus. I'm not suggesting you turn it off immediately, but it's important to pay attention to the risk factor for dementia that I want to highlight: the habit of solely watching television. Last week, I had the opportunity to meet a remarkable 70-year-old gentleman, Mr. Thomas Green, who exhibited cognitive abilities akin to those of a 30-year-old. When I inquired about his secret to maintaining such a sharp mind, he shared that he has been diligently reading books and taking notes for the past 40 years. He even dedicates time to organizing his thoughts as if he were engaging in a debate with the authors of the books he reads. After finishing a book, he spends approximately 30 minutes reflecting on its content, almost as if he is conversing with the author. A brain scan revealed that Mr. Green's brain function resembled that of a 60-year-old. In contrast, I also assessed 65-year-old Mr. James Lee, who has been diagnosed with early-stage dementia. He spends an average of 5 hours a day watching television and over 3 hours daily on YouTube and other video platforms since his retirement. He mentioned that he watches numerous documentaries and news segments, but these activities do not aid in preventing dementia. This is because they are passive. One merely receives information without actively stimulating the brain. It's noteworthy that we dedicate 4 to 5 hours daily to smartphones or television. However, passively consuming information can lead to a decline in cognitive function and memory. The brain adapts based on its usage, which means it can either enhance or decline in performance. A study conducted by the University of California revealed that older adults who engage in television viewing for over 3 hours daily experience a memory decline rate 1.5 times greater than those who limit their viewing to less than 1 hour. This phenomenon can be attributed to the passive nature of watching TV or videos. Recent studies indicate that brain scans of older adults who frequently engage with television shows show diminished activity in regions essential for cognitive functions such as decision-making, planning, and concentration. A more pressing concern arises from the growing prevalence of short-form content. The habitual consumption of brief videos can impair attention spans and diminish cognitive capabilities, potentially heightening the risk of dementia. Even younger generations, including my grandchildren, are drawn to these short videos, but the adverse effects on cognitive health are particularly pronounced in older individuals. Brains that are used to brief stimuli may struggle with deep thinking. Therefore, it isn't essential to completely eliminate TV or YouTube from your routine. The key lies in achieving balance. Consuming videos isn't inherently negative, but relying solely on that form of engagement can be problematic. It's important to find a harmony between passive consumption and active engagement. After observing a television program, engaging in a discussion with another individual or structuring your thoughts on the subject can provide beneficial stimulation. To address this issue, I will outline several methods based on my extensive research and experience. Allocate a minimum of 30 minutes each day for reading, regardless of the book. One of my patients, a 78-year-old gentleman with a passion for mystery novels, dedicates 30 minutes daily to this practice to support his cognitive health. It is essential to select a book in a subject that captivates you, as enjoyment is crucial for consistency. Following your reading, Take a moment to organize your thoughts. Even jotting down simple notes or summarizing as if explaining to another person can be beneficial. I personally make it a routine to condense the day's reading into 3 sentences before bedtime, as this technique aids in converting short-term memories into long-term retention. When engaging with television or YouTube, it's important to avoid passive consumption. Instead, cultivate a habit of active thinking. Consider inquiries such as whether you concur with this viewpoint or what alternative perspectives might exist. One of my 72-year-old female patients has developed a routine of jotting down her thoughts in a notebook while observing the news a year later. Her memory test results showed significant improvement compared to others her age. The process of engaging in active thought rather than passively absorbing information is essential. Thus far, I have emphasized the importance of verbal communication and active information processing, but there is another critical aspect to consider. Thirdly, it is vital to avoid a monotonous daily routine, as this can be a risk factor for dementia. This may come as a surprise. As previously mentioned, the brain is stimulated through conversation and thrives on active engagement with information. However, if these activities are performed in a repetitive manner each day, we miss out on the benefits of novelty. This highlights the significance of the third principle. Our brains function optimally when exposed to new experiences. Unfortunately, many seniors tend to follow the same daily patterns, waking at the same time, consuming the same meals, sitting in the same location, watching television, and walking the same route. This repetitive routine fails to offer fresh stimuli to the brain. Consider the case of Mr. Robert Brown, a 68-year-old man who, after retiring, engaged in the same daily activities for 3 years. Eventually, his children encouraged him to undergo a dementia assessment, which revealed mild cognitive impairment. When I inquired about his daily routine, he expressed uncertainty about how the days seemed to blend together, often unable to distinguish between Monday and Sunday. Engaging in the same routine each day dulls the brain, as it ceases to receive new experiences. Data living on autopilot can lead to a decline in cognitive function, as research indicates that a lack of new experiences can weaken brain circuits. Engaging in new activities fosters the development of new brain connections, which is essential for maintaining cognitive health over time. This phenomenon, known as brain plasticity, highlights the remarkable capacity of our brains to adapt and grow, regardless of age. Personally, at 85, I make it a point to try something new each week, whether it's digital drawing or experimenting with a new recipe. These small challenges are vital for keeping the mind sharp. To introduce changes into your daily routine, I suggested the following to Mr. Brown. Consider implementing small changes gradually. If you're still engaged with this video and appreciating the insights, please share your thoughts on point 3 in the comments to confirm your presence. Additionally, if you haven't subscribed yet, I encourage you to do so and activate notifications to ensure you don't miss any upcoming videos. Your support enables us to persist in producing valuable content that informs and inspires you. Now let us proceed. First, consider altering your commute or walking route. Exploring an alternative route can invigorate cognitive function. Mr. Brown previously walked in the same park daily. However, following my suggestion, he began exploring various parks each week. This change fostered a habit of observing his environment, leading to an enhancement in his memory. Additionally, I recommend utilizing your non-dominant hand. If you are right-handed, attempt brushing your teeth or writing with your left hand, as this engages the opposite hemisphere of the brain. One individual I worked with dedicated 10 minutes each day to drawing with their non-dominant hand. After 6 months, they experienced significant improvements not only in hand dexterity but also in short-term memory. Additionally, exploring a new hobby or skill can be beneficial at any age. Engaging in activities such as playing an instrument, learning a language, gardening, or cooking provides excellent stimulation for the brain. Mr. Brown began his journey with the ukulele, initially finding it challenging to maneuver his fingers. However, after 3 months of practice, he was able to play simple songs, showcasing his cognitive progress. Function tests also demonstrated significant enhancement. Mr. Brown's case illustrates the remarkable adaptability of the brain. A year later, his cognitive function test results returned to normal. This serves as an excellent example of how minor adjustments in daily life can lead to substantial improvements in brain health. However, it is important to acknowledge that change is not always straightforward. Individuals inherently pursue comfort and familiarity. However, to mitigate the risk of dementia, it is essential to confront discomfort and engage in new challenges. I inform my patients that discomfort is temporary, yet its effects can be long-lasting. It's important to remember this. Another change for Mr. Brown involved expanding his social relationships. Starting a new hobby naturally led to meeting individuals with similar interests, thereby increasing his opportunities for conversation. This ties back to the first principle, the significance of communication. These three principles are closely interconnected. However, some may wonder if it's too late to learn something new at their age. I assure you, at 85, I still learn something new every week. Recently, I've been challenging myself to create smartphone apps. It's difficult, but overcoming that challenge provides the best stimulation for the mind. To enhance your well-being, it's essential to begin with manageable adjustments that align with your lifestyle. Overwhelming changes can lead to unnecessary stress, so it's wise to take small steps and progressively broaden your horizons. Engaging in new experiences not only invigorates the mind, but also infuses life with energy and joy. A year later, Mr. Brown shared with me, "My life is so enjoyable now. Each day feels fresh and thrilling, and I truly feel alive." Maintaining a healthy mind involves not only managing your thoughts but also your emotions. Fourth, it is important to recognize that effectively managing negative emotions can help mitigate the risk of dementia. The regions of the brain that govern emotions and memory are intricately linked, meaning that persistent stress, anxiety, and depression can have a direct impact on memory function. Consider the case of 75-year-old Mrs. Susan White, who, after the loss of her husband, experienced depression for 2 years, leading to a rapid decline in her memory. Initially, she attributed her memory issues to grief, but when there was no improvement, she sought my assistance. Evaluations revealed that she had mild cognitive impairment and elevated levels of stress hormones. If this situation persisted, she faced a significant risk of developing dementia. Stress and anxiety can significantly impact brain health, particularly affecting the hippocampus, which plays a crucial role in memory. When cortisol, the stress hormone, is persistently released, it can lead to the degeneration of hippocampal cells. Therefore, it is vital to manage emotions effectively. For Mrs. White, I suggested a combination of medication and emotional management training. Here's the approach we took. Initially, she began a practice of documenting her gratitude each evening, noting 3 things she appreciated from her day. At first, she expressed a sense of emptiness, claiming there was nothing to be thankful for. However, with persistence, she started to recognize and appreciate the little joys, such as a delightful cup of coffee, a stunning sky, or the kindness of a bus driver. Research from Harvard indicates that older adults who regularly maintained gratitude journals exhibited heightened activity in the prefrontal cortex, which is involved in emotional regulation, as well as in the hippocampus, which plays a crucial role in memory. Mitigating adverse emotions while enhancing positive ones has a direct effect on the health of the brain. Second set of deep breathing exercises. Whenever she experienced feelings of anxiety or concern, she engaged in a breathing technique where she inhaled deeply for 3 seconds, held her breath for 3 seconds, and then exhaled slowly for 6 seconds. This method effectively stabilizes the autonomic nervous system and diminishes the secretion of stress hormones. Mrs. White engaged in this practice 10 times a day. During her 3rd meditation, she dedicated 10 minutes each day to sitting quietly, concentrating on her breath or the sounds around her. Studies indicate that meditation alters the structure of the brain. Engaging with positive individuals is essential, as we are significantly affected by the emotional conditions of those in our vicinity. Surrounding ourselves with individuals who frequently express negativity can elevate our own negative feelings. Mrs. White became a member of a choir at the local cultural center, where she encountered uplifting and vibrant individuals, discovering a newfound joy in singing. 6 months later, her stress hormone levels normalized, and her cognitive function showed remarkable improvement. Her memory and focus showed significant improvement, and her expression became noticeably brighter as she shared this with me. Physician, I now anticipate the mornings with a sense of clarity and lightness in my mind. Managing emotions effectively is not merely about achieving a sense of well-being. It is crucial for maintaining optimal brain health. Prolonged negative emotions can adversely affect the brain and elevate the risk of dementia. It is important to understand that while stress is an inevitable part of life, it can be effectively managed. Achieving a life devoid of stress is unrealistic, but the manner in which one copes with stress is vital. Learning to navigate stress without becoming overwhelmed can significantly enhance cognitive health. Even at the age of 85, I still face stress when dealing with challenging cases, when research outcomes fall short, or when health concerns emerge. However, I address this stress through daily practices such as meditating for 20 minutes each morning and maintaining a gratitude journal in the evening. These simple routines are essential for sustaining my cognitive well-being. When considering emotional management as nourishment for the mind, it is essential to address the sustenance for the body. During periods of depression or stress, the temptation to opt for unhealthy food can be strong. However, maintaining a diet rich in healthy options can significantly enhance your mood. Additionally, optimal brain health is closely linked to proper eating habits. Lastly, it is crucial to be mindful of your dietary choices. Food serves not only as sustenance but also as essential energy for cognitive function. The impact of your diet on brain health is significant. Consider the case of Mr. David Clark, a 71-year-old who had a lifelong affinity for fast food and processed meals. Following his retirement, he leaned even more heavily on these eating habits, viewing cooking as an inconvenience. Eventually, he began to experience a decline in his memory and received a diagnosis of mild cognitive impairment. An imaging study revealed elevated inflammation levels in the brain, which are directly associated with an inadequate diet. Processed foods, including fast food and those high in sugar, significantly contribute to brain inflammation. Inflammation compromises the integrity of connections among brain cells, resulting in a decline in memory. Conversely, Mrs. Elizabeth Brown, aged 82, adhered to a conventional dietary regimen emphasizing fish, beans, vegetables, and fruits. Her cognitive age was approximately a decade younger than her chronological age, and her brain volume was more substantial than it seems. The foods you consume have a direct effect on brain health. So, which foods are beneficial for cognitive function? What insights have you gathered thus far? Dementia is not merely an inevitable aspect of aging. It is a condition that can be affected by your everyday behaviors. Engaging in conversation and maintaining social connections are crucial, while minimizing passive activities such as excessive television viewing is also important. Additionally, exploring new experiences and effectively managing stress can play a significant role in this context. Minor adjustments can significantly impact the preservation of your cognitive well-being at this moment. I invite you to share your thoughts in the comments below. Please tell me one thing you've learned from this video that you plan to incorporate into your daily life, whether it's reading aloud regularly, altering your routine, or beginning a gratitude journal. Let's embark on this journey toward improved brain health together. If you found this video beneficial, kindly leave your comment below, and remember to like, share, and subscribe to our YouTube channel for additional insights on leading a healthier, sharper life. Your brain is an invaluable resource. It is essential to prioritize its well-being.